Police agencies across the nation are seeing staffing shortages, including dispatchers. With the dispatch center being open 24/7, finding employees is essential. Northern News Now's Natalie Hepner brings us into the Ashland County Dispatch Center, where the staffing shortage hits close to home, and they found a unique solution to help.
Ashland County 911, where is your emergency?
When you call 911, you always expect someone on the other line.
10-423-1351.
But recently, the people answering those calls have been harder to find. Mark Hill is a dispatch supervisor in Ashland County, overseeing 6 full-time dispatchers. Ashland County normally has 7 full-time workers.
I know in the 3.5-4 years that I've been in the career, I don't remember where there was a time, even not here in other agencies, where it's been full staff and not have a vacancy.
According to the Police Executive Research Forum, 78% of police organizations across the nation indicated they had a hard time filling positions in 2022. Ashland County Sheriff Brian Zupke said he thinks the job isn't as attractive anymore with low pay and stressful situations, so fewer people are applying. Ashland County had 4 total dispatchers last year, which is half of what they need.
We had experienced some shortages in the beginning of the year where it was kind of somewhat, we believed to be a crisis. We didn't know if we were going to get applicants in at the time.
While his staff is now up to 6 full-time dispatchers, Zupke said the job is typically a revolving door and finding applicants is difficult, leaving current dispatchers filling the void.
My dispatchers are 84 hours in a pay period for a normal week, and if there's overtime, I've seen anywhere up to 130, 140, even 150 hours in 2 weeks that people are working to help cover because of the shortages.
Sheriff Brian Zupke said one solution to the staffing shortage is combining Ashland County's dispatch center with Bayfield County's dispatch center.
Combine both places, double the employees so people can take off and get away from here and spend time with their family and friends.
The combination will also help the counties receive more funding and support from the Wisconsin Capitol, something Wisconsin State Senator Romaine Quinn says is necessary.
So when Bayfield and Ashland County come together to create a potential joint dispatch, there could be monies from the state to help fund that. We want to fund innovation.
10 for North River checks 1317.
Quinn, a Republican who represents Ashland and Bayfield counties, says state funding could also help raise dispatchers' wages. Zupke said the current pay for dispatchers is around $21 an hour after training is completed, but the sheriff hopes to increase wages to $25 an hour to be more competitive.
We need to keep working to attract new talent, and again, to attract someone, you have to pay them a wage that's attractive. And so giving Ashland County, giving Bayfield County the resources they need to hire these people is important.
A solution Hill agrees with.
You can go work at Walmart or Quick Trip for $18, $20 an hour with no stress, no worry.
Hopeful that funding will come.
It's crucial that we stay open and available for any life-saving calls, 911 calls.
To save more lives.
All right, just stay on the line with me here. I'll get EMS headed your way. One thing I've always lived by is if somebody needs help and I'm able to help, I'm going to help them.
In Ashland, Natalie Hepner, Northern News Now.
Sheriff Zupke said the combination of the 2 dispatch centers will take around a year. That center will be in Washburn, Wisconsin, with around 15 total dispatchers. Ashland County would keep their space in the sheriff's office as a backup if needed. The pay increases are still in the proposal stages.